The Supreme Court just struck down the president's signature trade policy, but the White House is already hitting back with a new one. This is Kenya News Update today. Coming up, you'll discover why a $175 billion refund is now a legal mess, why India just canceled a major trade visit, and how one tech giant's earnings could change everything for global markets. The U.S. Supreme Court delivered a major blow to President Donald Trump on Friday, striking down the bulk of his so-called reciprocal tariffs. The court ruled the White House overstepped by using emergency economic powers to impose them. For critics of tariffs, this was a massive win for free trade and the rule of law. But here's the twist. President Trump didn't take the decision lying down. Hours after the ruling, he announced on Truth Social he'd be using a completely different legal authority, Section 122, to impose a new 10% tariff on all global imports. And then, just one day later, he hiked that new tariff to 15%. So for U.S. importers, the situation has moved one step forward and two steps back. Meet the American business owner. They've been paying these now illegal tariffs for months. Their goods are stuck at the border, and their costs are soaring. For them, this ruling should mean immediate relief and a massive refund. But here's the part that will blow your mind. That relief isn't happening. CNBC's Lori Ann LaRocco reports that U.S. Customs and Border Protection hasn't even updated its computer systems to remove the duty charges. Importers are still paying the illegal tariffs right now. And refunding the estimated $175 billion already collected? Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh called that process a quote mess in his dissent. That's $175 billion in limbo. The geopolitical fallout is already starting. A source tells CNBC that India is delaying its planned trade visit to Washington, D.C. to evaluate what this legal chaos means. This was a key diplomatic trip, now on ice. But here's what nobody's talking about. While this tariff drama unfolds, another critical story is developing half a world away. The U.S. and Iran are set for another round of talks this Thursday in Geneva. The last round failed because Washington and Tehran couldn't agree on sanctions relief. Now, with a new global tariff threat from the White House, these already fragile negotiations enter uncharted territory. The implications are massive. A stalled deal with Iran could mean more volatility in global energy markets. A trade war on two fronts could cripple supply chains. For Kenya and the world, this means more uncertainty for exports, for shipping costs, and for the price of goods on your shelves. But wait, there's one more seismic event this week that could overshadow it all. All eyes are on NVIDIA. The artificial intelligence chip giant reports earnings on Wednesday. The entire AI sector is in tumult, and investors are desperate for CEO Jensen Huang to provide a roadmap. They want to know how companies are spending on AI, how it's being deployed, and whether it will augment or completely replace other services. NVIDIA's word could move global markets more than any tariff ruling. So what does this all mean? Some say the Supreme Court checked presidential power, protecting the Constitution. Others say President Trump simply found a new legal path, proving his trade agenda is unstoppable. For businesses caught in the middle, it's pure chaos. A $175 billion refund mess, a canceled Indian trade mission, and the constant threat of new tariffs with a single social media post. But the biggest question remains. In a world of legal ping-pong and geopolitical brinksmanship, who really pays the price? It's the importer, the consumer, and the global economy trying to plan for a future that changes by the hour. Do you think the president's new tariff move is a smart pivot or dangerous instability? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more on how global power plays affect your wallet.